for participating in our virtual Night of Hope. My name is Tony Vick, and this is Karen, my wife. We were honored to be the 2020 recipients of the Tom Watson Award for Courage. I say we because nobody fights ALS alone. For me, it takes my wife, family, friends, and most importantly, faith to get through days and nights with ALS. They provide the help I need each day and also the hope that we hold on to make the best of each of those days. Help and hope are important to not just Karen and I, but to the entire ALS community.
Those of us fighting ALS also receive the help and hope from other sources. The ALS Association Mid-America chapter gives us help in the form of tools, information, and programs that we need. And you, the donors and supporters of the chapter, give us hope. Hope that with your continued support, we can fight this battle together and eventually see a day when ALS is not terminal. A day when there are therapies, drugs, and maybe even a cure. So thank you for your past support and the support we hope you give to this event. The ALS community needs you to roll up your sleeves and fight with us now more than ever. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Welcome to the 33rd annual A Night of Hope. We are so glad that you're with us. And as so many other things over a year now, it's going to be a different Night of Hope, but we are still here and we're excited that you're with us to do this. So we're taking an old school variety show and new school technology to bring you tonight's variety show fundraiser. I'm Lindsay Shively from 41 Action News. You can see me every morning from 5 to 7 a.m. And I'm so glad to be here with you with a fellow early morning riser. We have Stephen St. John, host of the Border Patrol on 810 WHB. Stephen, so good to see you.
Great to see you too, Lindsay. Thank you so much for serving as the MC tonight. And like you, I'm an early riser, like you said. You can listen to me every weekday morning on Sports Radio 810 WHB from 6 until 10 a.m. And today, in honor of the variety show, I'm wearing a big hat. So hopefully that gets everyone fired up for tonight's festivities. And of course, this is so special to me because my family was impacted by ALS back in the late 80s when my uncle Richie Ontiveros, who was a Kansas City, Kansas police officer, was diagnosed with ALS. And it was a very confusing time for my grandparents. They were both originally from Mexico. And along with my mother, when they got the news about my uncle's condition, just didn't have access to a lot of information. I can remember going with my mother to the library to try to learn more about ALS and Lou Gehrig's disease, until finally we were connected with the ALS Association back then, Keith Worthington chapter, and we were able to finally get some help and get guidance and just feel like we weren't alone as we joined my uncle in this battle against ALS. And so not only for the patients that battle valiantly every day against this dreaded disease, it's also, a night like this is also for the families, because the families sacrifice so much in the care of the patients and go through so much like my grandparents did, my family did, and the ALS Association does so much for the patients and so much for the families. Every dollar that we raise tonight is so very important, and that's why I'm honored to be involved in the A Night of Hope and be involved as a board member of the ALS Association Mid-America chapter. And hopefully tonight we're going to raise a lot of money for the families that have been affected by ALS, just like my family was so many years ago. Lindsay, can you believe this is the 33rd annual A Night of Hope? And to put that into perspective, the first year A Night of Hope was held was the same year that the first handheld mobile phone was released, and also the year I got my driver's license, which
I love it.
Boy.
It's like I can picture Zach Morris on the cell phone right now. I love it. No, Mid-America chapter has been serving people and families with ALS for more than 40 years. The number of people, including your family, who've been helped by this chapter is just incredible. And over the years of this event, we've come to meet so many people who are living with ALS and people in organizations who have joined the fight against ALS. And we're recognizing those people every year with the Tom Watson Award for Courage and the George Brett Award for Commitment. And I think for most of us, those awards and meeting these people is really just a highlight of the entire night every time.
And as we mentioned, this year, we're doing things a little bit different. Over the last year, we've had to do a lot of things different. So rather than celebrate an honoree, we're going to be celebrating several past honorees and remember them and their fight.
Absolutely. And Tony and Karen Vick, who kicked off the show for us tonight, they were the 2020 recipients of the Tom Watson Award for Courage. And I remember absolutely being in awe of Tony and Karen and their commitment to their family and their faith and their love for each other was so evident. I think everybody in that room felt it that night.
And like so many stories that we hear tonight, each of these families has been affected by ALS. And so we're going to ask you tonight to chip in what you can to help us raise funds for people like Tony and the other inspirational heroes that we're going to hear from tonight. You know, we talk so much about the Tom Watson Award for Courage, and the chapter is so blessed to have Tom Watson as one of the champions in this fight. And he's been raising funds and awareness for the ALS community for so many years. And recently we sat down with Tom Watson and to find out more about what this award means to him.
Hi, I'm Tom Watson. And while I'm saddened that this year's A Night of Hope is not the big celebration we are accustomed to, I'm happy to have this opportunity to be a part of the virtual event. The Tom Watson Award for Courage, which started in 2008, is an important honor for me. Through getting to know many of the award recipients, either in person or by learning their story, I've connected with the ALS community. George and I are in this fight for the long haul, and we hope you are too. Preparing for this and reflecting on the people who received the award has reminded me of my caddy, Bruce Edwards, and the reason I first got involved in this fight. And speaking of my caddy, Bruce Edwards, the one story I'll always remember is when he was diagnosed with ALS, and I got the phone call from him from the Mayo Clinic. He got on the phone and said, "Well, I made a quad." That's typical Bruce, making light of a terrible situation. A quad meaning a quadruple bogey. I miss Bruce, but I'm reminded why we're all here tonight. I promised Bruce that I would be in this fight until we find a cure for ALS. Thank you for being here.
The Mid-America chapter of the ALS Association is so grateful to Tom for his continued support of the ALS community, to this event, and to the award that's named in his honor.
That's right, Lindsay. And let's not forget that Tom, of course, is one of the greatest golfers of all time. And so maybe we can take a minute and get a few golf tips from Tom Watson right now.
How do you hold a golf club? You hold the golf club so that you don't slice it or hook it, basically. But most people hold it incorrectly, so they already have a built-in slice or a built-in hook with their grip. Now, when you grip the golf club, what I like to do is to make sure that this left thumb right here, as you see, that left thumb is not down the center of the shaft, but off to the right of the shaft this way. And I want to see these two knuckles. When I look down at my left-hand grip, I want to see those two knuckles with the left hand. The right hand basically just fits right over that left thumb, which is going down kind of the right center of the grip like this. That's the grip right there. One last thing, the grip pressure. The last three fingers of the left hand right here, those are the pressure points in your grip. Make sure that those are firm on the golf club, but all the rest of the fingers are on there nice and loose. That'll help you play better golf.
I can't tell you how much that makes me want to go out and actually try to golf, because I can't, but that was really, really helpful. Tom Watson, thank you.
Well, finally it's warming up, so we actually have the option of going out to play golf. So that's a good thing, although I shouldn't say that and I might jinx things, and we could have an ice storm next week. So I'll just shut up and continue with the program right now. You know, the thing about golf and sports in general, it takes a really special person, and it takes commitment and desire and talent and drive to do what it takes to get to the highest level. The thing about helping people with ALS, all you need is the willingness to do something. And tonight, we're asking you to do that, whether it's bid on an auction item or purchase a golden ticket, make a donation in Tony's name or in the name of any of our honorees. It doesn't take any special talent, just a willingness to do whatever you can to help. And to sweeten the deal, every dollar donated tonight up to $17,625 will be matched dollar for dollar by the ALS Association Mid-America Chapter Board of Directors. Be sure to get to the website, anightofhopekc.com, and make your donation right now.
In 2015, we met a family from Omaha, Nebraska. David and Jody Masters had just had their first child when ALS just turned their lives upside down. They met while they were both serving in the Air Force, and Jody fell for David, a bodybuilder, a musician, and a guy who loved to tinker with cars. In David's words, he said things were going along as they should, and then they weren't. Let's take a look at their video from 2015.
You know, he could still ride his motorcycle, he could still walk, talk, work on cars for the most part. He could still help take care of Radley, those types of things. It wasn't really life-altering until the next year when it started to progress a little bit more, and that's when he was medically retired from the Air Force, was in 2007. In 2006, we have PMA, but at any time it could become a diagnosis of ALS, which it did in March of 2010.
It became real apparent to me right away, and it could be a lot worse, and it can be a lot worse immediately. And from that day forward, I have always said, not today. It might be a crummy situation, but you know what? Not today. Because every day that I'm still alive is a good day. And that's what you have to, I guess you don't have to, but that's the way I choose to see it.
So again, that was the Masters family in 2015, and we caught up with them just a couple weeks ago again to see how they are living one day at a time now.
We have continued to live our lives one day at a time. We try and find something to focus on every day, to enjoy as a family, to bring us joy where we are. We don't go out a whole lot anymore. Obviously, nobody's going out a whole lot anymore. But when we were able to get together socially, we have a series called the David's House Concert Series. And we would bring in local musicians and have a night of music and fun and food and friends. And that was our way of celebrating every day that we have together. David loves music, he loves socializing, he loves partying. So we've tried to focus on the things that really bring us joy. And we've been lucky because we're in a situation where we have lots of support, lots of good friends, wonderful children. So we've been blessed to be able to focus on those things. David loves football. Thankfully, we have a lot of games to watch. He loves to focus on fighting, UFC, and race cars. And really, it's just about trying to find a focus on what you can find joy in. It's really easy to be brought down with despair. It really is. And it takes effort sometimes to find joy in the everyday. But as David always told us, he's lucky for that extra day. He's lucky to be able to have the opportunity to watch a movie with his kids. He's lucky to be able to go out into the garage and look at the cars with the kids and to talk about what they're going to do in the future. And although David is the one who keeps us going because he's got the best attitude out of all of us, having friends and family around and having the ability to find the joy in the everyday is really what keeps us going strong.
David and Jody's kids are now teenagers, and they continue to focus on that today.
And so a couple of things you didn't see in this clip that we talked about are David's love of both Alabama football and delicious Pabst Blue Ribbon. His final words to us before we left the call were, "All's right in the world, roll tide." But you did hear Jody talk about David's love to party. And every year, a Night of Hope is a party to celebrate the hope and courage of people like the Masters.
Yeah, so every year at a Night of Hope, you guys know there's a signature cocktail. It's tied to the theme of the night. This year is no exception. The 2021 signature cocktail is the Hope-A-Tini.
And for those of you who purchased an event experience, you received a drink box with everything you need to make your own Hope-A-Tini at home. That's just what I need. I need a drink box.
So the folks at Holiday Distillery will show us now how to make the perfect Hope-A-Tini.
Hi everyone, my name is Matt with the Holiday Distillery. I'm here to show you how to make the 2021 signature cocktail. So what we got here is we've got an array of syrups. What you're gonna need is you're gonna need really good vodka. I get mine from 360, it's local out of Weston. Now, I'm gonna use our shaker that actually comes with our kit. If you don't have this shaker, don't worry, you can use yours at home. This one just has a little bit of extra help for you as far as measurements, but measurements aren't too important. So the first step we're gonna take is make sure our shaker's ready, get it full of ice, and then we're gonna take our 360 vodka. And once we've added all of our product, our signature 360 vodka, now depends on if you're just drinking for yourself. If you are, you can add 1.5 ounces. If you'd like to kick it up and get a little bit more hope in your Hope-Tini, you can add a little more. I'm not gonna tell anyone. And with the measurements on the back, it's always easy to tell exactly how to make your drink perfect each time. If you wanna add more, wanna add less, it doesn't matter, you just stick to the measurements. Now, to kick this thing up, we're gonna add our syrup. All right. So once we've added that, we're almost there, we're not done, because I've got a little lemons right here already sliced up. Now, it doesn't have to be lemons. You can tweak these drinks however you would like. You have 3 different syrups that you can choose from, and you can garnish them 3 different ways. I always like to add at least a 1/2 ounce of lemon to mine, but I don't really measure too much. So a good squeeze is always good for me. All right, now the last step, we're gonna get our lid secure firmly, and we're gonna shake it right next to our head. Make sure you really get it up above your ear. You wanna make sure you're hearing everything going on with your drink. So last but not least, I think we're missing something here. Let me get it. Our martini glass. So we're gonna take this, garnish with a lemon if you would like. We're gonna pour this nice and easy. Now it's not a martini without some olives, but you don't always have to put them in the drink.
Good evening. My name is Chris Tonagis. I'm the president of the board of the directors for the ALS Association Mid-America chapter. I'm currently working on quarantine beard number 4, as you can see, but I'd like to welcome each of you this evening as we celebrate our 33rd annual Night of Hope. This is the first time we haven't been able to get together, but thanks to technology, we're here to celebrate hope, courage, commitment, and the success of the chapter. To each of you who have supported us in the past and again this year, I say thank you. To those of you who might be spending your first time with us this evening, I say welcome. So let's get back to celebrating, and cheers to a great 2021.
Wow, thanks, Chris. Nice beard. Let me know if you need some tips anytime. Be happy to help you out there. We also want to thank Ascend Hospice, who is just one of our great sponsors tonight, for bringing us that lesson on how to make the perfect Hope-A-Tini. Ascend Hospice providing a personalized and holistic approach to hospice care.
I'm Jill Recker, a social worker with Ascend Hospice. Ascend Hospice works closely with the ALS Association to provide care, resources, and assistance to those facing ALS. In addition to traditional hospice care, Ascend also offers holistic options, including massage therapy and aromatherapy with our own essential oils. Our philosophy embraces not only our patients, but also those close to them that are affected by ALS. Our experience with ALS is personal and professional, as we are committed to providing the best care to those patients and families we serve. We at Ascend have made it our mission to champion a cure for ALS by supporting the ALS Association for their efforts in research and services.
In addition to our friends at Ascend Hospice, we'd like to thank our sponsors who make this evening possible. Bob Lloyd, the Betzelberger family, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, Chase, the Kahn, Miller, and Mann families, and the KU Department of Neurology. Without the support of these partners, tonight simply is not possible. And while we're in the thanking mood, I'd like to thank some individuals who committed to make a difference tonight. Thank you to Nancy Creasy, Mandy Morgan, Erica Driscoll, Bill Perry, and William Van Waldbach. Again, thank you so much for your support.
So far, we have heard from Tony Vick and David Masters, both military veterans. And did you know that in 2019, a report called ALS in the Military found that 1 in 6 ALS cases involved patients who served in the armed forces? Doctors are still trying to figure out the cause.
The ALS Association is the largest private funder of ALS research in the world. You can help unravel these mysteries by making a donation tonight at anightofhopekc.com.
The next story that we want to share with you comes from 2013. Those of you who were there that night were treated to the humor that is Treg Charlton. And he managed to bring a smile and some laughs to the audience. And we have to say, 2013 wasn't that long ago, but apparently the AV equipment has come a long way since then.
Because several of you know my story, or may have seen the Cliff Notes version of tonight's program, I thought I'd mix things up, throw a little curveball. So, for the sake of this story, I'm still Treg Charlton, married, 46-year-old, 2 kids. Better part of 10 years, I've scoured these parts in the attempt to put a CVS on every corner in Kansas City. I think we did all right. This alternate version of my story tested better with focus groups because, well, nobody ends up getting ALS. Just a bad case of the flu, some bed rest, and then we throw a big party because, well, everyone thought we had ALS, but it was just the flu. Thank you for their charitable chuckles. I think everyone in the room understands how difficult it can be to write a truly hilarious ALS joke.
Treg's humor is just legendary among his friends and his family and his co-workers. So we joined Treg and his wife, Diane, to see how the family is doing.
Hi, my name is Diane Charlton. I'm here with my husband, Treg Charlton. He was diagnosed in 2010 and received your fabulous award and accepted that in 2013. At the time, our children were 10 and 12 years old. We have 2 girls. Our oldest is Audrey, who is now a freshman at Alabama. And then we have our junior, Mia, who is currently at Chagrin Falls High School in a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. It's been a long road. We're just thankful Treg has been here much further than we expected. He's actually going to be 11 years of his diagnosis, which the average, as most of you know, is 2 to 5 years. So we're very blessed in that respect. But, you know, I'm sure as everyone knows, it's a challenging road. He has a couple things he would like to say.
Hello everyone. I'm Treg Charlton, and sitting beside me is my incredible wife of 20 years, Diane. Way back in 2013, we received the Tom Watson Award for Courage. I say we, because without Diane, I'm definitely not here Zooming with you today. I say this figuratively, but also literally. As in, she has literally saved me from choking on peanuts over 200 times. One of the highlights of our 11-year ALS journey was the Night at Hope. I still remember. The kind people at the Mid-American chapter led me on stage to accept the award. It was a decision they would immediately regret. I repay their kindness by talking for what must have seemed like 2 hours. The master of ceremonies, The incredible Graham Crowe probably remembers that night as the only time he had to unplug anyone's microphone. But enough about me. The Tom Watson Award has been presented to some truly courageous individuals, like Army veteran Tony Vick and police officer Sarah Nauser, to name a few. I have never considered myself courageous, but I do know courage when I see it. So I would like to take this moment to grant my award to the most deserving individual in my life. To my wife, Diane, for spending half of our 20 years together under truly grueling conditions. For greeting each new day with determination and grit. For sacrificing your back to get me into and out of bed right around 5,000 times. For nourishing my body and my spirit. For being there. For richer or poorer. In health, but mostly sickness. I love you, Diane Charlton. Here's your trophy. Take it. Before I change my mind. Just kidding.
Is that it? Oh, and here's his little Lou Gehrig's statue too that he loves to have. Thank you for having us in on this fabulous video again for the recipients. Thank you for the Mid-America chapter for everything that you do for ALS and for helping all the people out that you do. We love you all. Thank you. Have a good afternoon. Bye.
Thank you to Treg and Diane for taking the time. And we want to thank some folks now who lent their expertise to make a Night of Hope possible.
That's right. We'd like to thank Austin Walsh Studios, Chef Kansas City, Holiday Distillery, the Kansas City Star, and how about Sebastian DeGeer with Geared Up Films? I don't know where we found that guy, but he's pretty good. Also, thank you, Lindsay, for giving up your time. You are wonderful and an awesome MC. You know, the theme for tonight is giving. And one way you can give is to bid on auction items. This year, we have the unique opportunity for you to purchase outright at a slightly discounted rate several trips the chapter has procured. You can go places like Sonoma, Mexico, Bali, or Costa Rica. You can also, you know, you don't have to get into a bidding war with the guy 2 tables over. You can just buy it at the listed price. And the other unique thing is you can buy more than one of the same trip. You want to take your kids on a family vacation? Buy a second trip. Or how about this? If you're a kid, we're all kids at heart, and you want to take your parents on the greatest 50th anniversary ever, you can head to the website, anightofhopekc.com, and find the trip that fits your needs and your budget. Now, there's one other way you can get one of those trips. You can purchase a golden ticket. You won't get to see Willy Wonka, but for $100, you get the chance to win either a trip to Sonoma, Mexico, or Costa Rica, and we're only selling 150 tickets. So you have a much better chance than those lottery tickets you keep buying. Trust me on that. And please note, due to raffle laws, I didn't know there were raffle laws, but I will write this down. You have to live in Kansas or Missouri to purchase. And the drawing will be March 5th at high noon.
So Stephen, you mentioned Chef KC earlier. Chris Zembruski is the owner of Chef Kansas City, and he is the mastermind behind the VIP event experience.
And if you haven't gotten your VIP event experience yet, head to the website and reserve one now. They may already be sold out, but you might luck into getting one. And for your donation of $150, you will get the Hopatini drink box and a charcuterie board. It's, you know what? It's a board with a lot of meat and cheese, and I love it, Lindsay, no matter how I say it.
Let's see how Chef Kansas City really teaches us how to build one.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris Zembruski, owner and operator of Chef Kansas City. Chef Kansas City is pleased to be a part of the fight against ALS. Usually one of the best parts of the Night of Hope is that we get to celebrate together. However, this year has been weird, so we are going to show you how to celebrate safely together. If you purchased a VIP event, then you will have the ingredients for a charcuterie board in your box, and we'll show you how to put that together right now. All right, first off, we're gonna start with the pepperoni. Okay, now it's pretty simple, but we're just gonna start to combine our ingredients here together. And it's really, I consider it kind of like painting. You want to see different colors in different areas, and also height. And then next we're gonna go with the hard salami. Just kind of same deal, just on the other little corner. And once again, we're just doing a nice contrast of colors and stacking them up to make them look nice. All right, next up, we're gonna do our sage derby. Our sage derby is basically a nice cheddar cheese that has been infused with sage. And then next up, we'll do our port wine derby, which is derby cheese that's been infused with port wine. We'll just kind of fan it out like that. Okay, now next up, we are going to start to pull this all together. We're gonna add our spiced pecans here. What I like to do is use these almost as like little lines to kind of separate out our ingredients. And these have been spiced with a little brown sugar, a little cumin, and coriander, and black pepper. So I'll use that to make a little line there. Okay, next up, we're gonna do our toasted almonds. And once again, I'm gonna use these just kind of loosely, just kind of use them to separate everything out. Boom. Next up, we're gonna use these craisins, and I almost use these as a little garnish, almost just kind of speckle them here and there. I'll probably put a nice little pile up here on the top to center it. Then I really just kind of want them around everywhere. Nice. And we also have a few dates, so I'm just gonna kind of scatter them here and there as well. And I'll kind of throw a couple up on top, and then kind of a couple here on the sides. Actually, having dates or almost like a sticky fruit out on the sides kind of helps everything stay together. And last but not least, we've got some olives that are in your kit, and you can just throw a few just kind of here and there. You're just having fun with it. It needs to just look good, and all the ingredients are tasty, so they're gonna do most of the work for you. Last but not least, I'm gonna add a little bit of fresh herb. You might have something around your house, around your kitchen, and just add a little fresh herb on top as a garnish. And that's how you make a charcuterie board. The board and the cheeses that have been sent with you guys are gonna pair really well. This sage derby pairs really, really well with a nice light Chardonnay, and the port wine actually goes really great with a Zinfandel or even a wheat beer. Our pepperoni and our salami go really, really well with Sangiovese. This has been How to Make a Charcuterie Board. Once again, my name is Chris Zimbruski with Chef Kansas City. We're really excited to be a part of the Night of Hope. Enjoy your board and enjoy your evening.
Okay, man, Chris makes that look so easy, and his charcuterie board looks way better than the ones that I make at home. That's great. So now that you have your charcuterie board ready to go for the evening, let's head out to San Diego, sunny San Diego, and hear from our friend Nicole Meehan. She says she's mildly famous and that you might know her from the advanced eye care ads that are running in one radio station in one county in Iowa.
Wow, I've always wanted to be Iowa famous. Let's hear what this lady has to say.
Thanks, guys. Most of you probably already know me from the radio ads, but I'll still introduce myself. My name is Nicole, and I live in San Diego, California. But my roots are in the Midwest. Over the years, I've learned that people in California have pretty random associations with the Midwest. That's why I decided to ask some of my California friends some questions about the Midwest states that some of you and I are from. So now I'll throw it over to myself for the interview. Take it away, Nicole. Is there anything that people in the Midwest say that like they don't say other places that you know of?
Please and thank you.
When I say the Midwest, what comes to mind for you?
I think of farms, land, old Western movies,
cowboy boots. It's interesting to me to notice the different billboards in the different regions. Like California's billboards are all like hot chicks and beer, and then the Midwest billboards are like, you should sturdy up the floor of your home.
How would you describe people from the Midwest?
If they're a guy, they're very tall.
The cutest accents.
What do they sound like?
It's like, you know, the nicest English teacher you've ever had or something like that.
People that are really good neighbors. So if you want a cup of sugar, you can get a cup of sugar.
Is there anything that you think Midwesterners say that they don't say in other parts of the country?
Y'all.
I know y'all is a Southern thing, but I still get y'all energy from the Midwest.
I think it's not even just what they say, it's just how they say it. There's just like an extra dose of kindness in there.
When I say Kansas, what comes to mind?
Tornadoes.
Tornadoes?
I don't even know what Kansas looks like.
Red shoes. Why red shoes? I don't know. Oh, that movie.
The Wizard of Oz.
Does anything come to mind when I say Missouri?
I remember that it was difficult to learn how to spell Missouri.
Yes, the like Civil War era pronunciation saying Missouri.
Okay, what about Nebraska?
Just big time corn, Huskers.
I feel like it's probably all one big, like, what's the word before a football game? Like a tailgate. I just imagine like everyone like hanging out in these like fields.
What comes to mind when you think of Iowa?
Corn. Nicole.
I think before I knew you, I really had no bearing of Iowa.
I'm just out here trying to spread awareness and put Iowa back on the map. Now I'm going to turn the spotlight to my former neighbor, Maeve. She lives in Iowa, and she's going to tell you what she thinks of when she hears the word California.
Like, I think of like fruity drinks and the beach with waves.
Beautifully said. Thanks everyone for watching, and thanks to the ALS Association Mid-America chapter. You're doing great work.
We've all heard the old adage that laughter is the best medicine. That is so true, unless you have ALS. Then you need research, clinical care, and the support of the ALS Association to fight. We hope you've made your way to the website already, and you've made your commitment. If not, please head to anightofhopekc.com. And while there, be sure to check out all the amazing auction items. You can grab some of the Chiefs and Royals memorabilia, or for the golf fans, Tom Watson donated the golf bag he carried during the PGA Champions Tour in 2020. That's a one-of-a-kind item you're just not going to find anyplace else.
Also, some packages for pampering yourself, stocking your bar, a quick weekend getaway. The package for Omaha includes passes to the world-famous Henry Dorley Zoo. And there are also artworks for your house, jewelry provided by Karen Vick, who we heard from in the opening of the show.
And make sure you give all the items a look. The auction closes March 5th at 4 p.m. So get your bids in now and watch your phone for alerts if you get outbid.
In addition to the Tom Watson Award for Courage, A Night of Hope also recognizes a person or organization who has significantly impacted the chapter through continued support over the years. That award is named after George Brett. George has been a champion for the ALS community for over 40 years. He has raised dollars and awareness in every way possible. And let's hear from him from his home in Arizona, where he's getting ready for another spring training. Hi, George.
I got involved with Keith back in the early 1970s. He was a great athlete, a tennis player, a golfer, and he became a good friend. He was an executive at Wolf Brothers Clothing, men's clothiers, down in the plaza. And all of a sudden, we became friends. I was doing ads for him, and the next thing you know, I see Keith on a cane. Then I see him on crutches. Then I see him in a wheelchair. And through this whole battle, he kept his a bright perspective. He was diagnosed with ALS. He knew they would find no cure in his lifetime, and that wasn't important to him. It was important for him to try to raise money and awareness for people down the road that might have ALS and find a cure. And I've been doing this fight for 40-something years now. We've had numerous golf tournaments, many nights of hope and fundraisers. And I remember 1999 when I got inducted into the Hall of Fame, we had a parade and we had a big dinner with a bunch of celebrities and came in town, and all the money went to ALS. So obviously I've been in this fight for a long time, and I'm kind of getting tired of it. I want to help find a cure as fast as possible. So that's why I'm here today. It's been a battle being involved with ALS all these years, but it's something that I really appreciate doing, and hopefully we can raise a lot of money, find a cure, help those that are in need of financial aid and equipment to help their lives go by as smoothly as possible. And that's why I'm here tonight, and thanks for joining us. We all remember Pete Frady's the Ice Bucket Challenge. The Ice Bucket Challenge was a great idea. And when you start thinking about it, there are a lot of great ideas out there to help raise money for many different charities. Well, I came up with Change for ALS. That was my idea. I'm like everybody else. I come home, I have 2 quarters, a dime, and 3 pennies in my pocket, and I throw them in a little bucket in my bathroom or in my closet. And this particular item I was throwing it in was a ceramic vase that my son Dylan made me in high school pottery class. And so I filled that thing up, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, man, what if I just donated all this money to ALS, and we'll call it Change for ALS. Well, everybody saves their money, their pennies, their dimes, their quarters. And over about, I would say, a year's time, I took that to the bank. I threw it in the counter, and it came out to $437. Just think if everybody else did that, how much money we could raise for ALS, and you don't even have to get wet. You just take it to the bank, you throw it in the change counter, they give you the money, you write a check, and you give it to ALS, and there's money that's going to help save people's lives and maybe find a cure. So in Kansas City, we're announcing that we're starting a national campaign. We've teamed up with Charlie Hustle, a shirt company in Kansas City. They're going to donate the proceeds of the shirt to ALS. And the shirts are beautiful. I'm wearing one right now. Stand up, it's George Brett right there. It's a picture of me. What was this from? This is from the day I went over 400 in Kansas City 41 years ago. 41 years ago in 1980. But it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful fundraiser. We're getting Major League Baseball behind it. We're going to try to get the Royals to put the change bucket in the locker room. We're going to try to get every team to put the change, a big bucket, a big empty, bottle of water, and we're going to fill that thing up. And then we're going to have a contest to see who raises the most money. This is our plans. But the website is change for Lou Gehrig, ALS.com. It's not FOR, it's number 4. Because the most famous person and the person this disease named after is Lou Gehrig. So changeforals.com. You can get more information on that, and it's going to be announced this evening. So I'm very happy to be a part of that, and I hope we can help raise tens and tens of millions of dollars, not only to find a cure, but get them everything that they need to make their life more comfortable while fighting this disease.
We are excited to see George's Change for ALS campaign take off. We all have a bucket of change at home or in our car, so let's plan to clean out our change jars and make a change for ALS. And the chapter is partnering with Charlie Hustle as part of the campaign with this limited edition t-shirt, George Brett, baby. That's right. That beautiful picture of him after he went over the 400 mark back in the historic 1980 season. So if you want this t-shirt, it's part of the community program with Charlie Hustle. It's limited edition. The shirt will be available in limited numbers, and you can get yours at the Charlie Hustle website. A portion of the proceeds from each t-shirt sold will be donated to the Change for ALS project. There's just so many ways you can make a difference in the fight against ALS. And tonight, thanks to the generosity of the board of directors for the Mid-America chapter, all donations up to $17,625 will be matched. You can make a difference and double your impact.
Speaking of making an impact, in 2018, we met Jeremy Holman, a young man diagnosed with ALS at the age of 39. But rather than despair, he gave a message of hope.
The secret to happiness is freedom. The secret to freedom is courage. And the secret to courage is love. I truly feel this, and I said it up here before, but we truly only make 2 decisions in life. We make decisions out of fear, or we make decisions out of love. It's very simple. Love the life you live.
And Jeremy spoke again last week about how he's loving life today.
Hey everyone, I just want to thank you for being with us tonight. If you're here watching this right now, you're either a person with ALS, a caregiver of someone with ALS, or you know someone with ALS. And if none of the above, then you are just an awesome person. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being here right now. 3 years ago, I received the Tom Watson Award for Courage. And in that speech, as you heard, I said these 5 magical words: love the life you live. That has not only become my motto, but it has become a way of life. And I truly feel this way. I have been blessed with the unfortunate ability to no longer care or worry about the future. I forgave myself for the past, and it only leaves me with right now, right here and right now in this moment. And this moment can be gone in the blink of an eye, and you'll never get it back. So what are we going to do with this moment? I have chose to live these moments with as much love and positivity as I can. Law of attraction is something I firmly believe in. The vibe you put out to the universe, positive or negative, will come back to you 100% of the time. So make your moments worth it. I am so blessed to have Team Holman and my family behind me, never telling me no with all these crazy ideas I come up with. We're knocking on the door of $100,000 raised for ALS charities and local veterans and homeless charities right here in Kansas City. It's amazing. Our moments are precious, and they're gone in a blink of an eye, and you'll never get them back. So what are you going to do with this moment to make it count?
Another powerful message from the 2018 Tom Watson Award for Courage honoree.
And if you were as moved by Jeremy's message as Lindsay and I both were, head over to anightofhopekc.com now and make a donation in Jeremy's honor.
As we come to a close tonight, we just want to say thank you for everybody who is here watching with us tonight or watching this recording at a later time. And as we said at the top of the show, this is the 33rd year of A Night of Hope. And this is the first time we may not all be together in the same room, but we are still together in the fight against ALS. George Brett, Tom Watson, and the families we heard from tonight are in this battle for the long haul.
We lost my uncle Richie Ontiveros back in 1993, and my family has been in the fight since that day. We plan to stay in until we get a cure. I hope you will join us. We've talked about it several times, but your donations tonight are being matched dollar for dollar up to $17,625. Double your impact with just a couple of easy clicks over at anightofhopekc.com. And if you have your eye on an auction item, get your bids in now. The auction will close at 4 o'clock Friday, March 5th. The golden ticket drawing will be held live via the chapter's Facebook page on Friday, March 5th at noon.
So we have heard from 4 past honorees who, for so many of us, have become the face of ALS. There are so many other families who are affected by ALS. Every 90 minutes, someone is diagnosed with ALS. Every 90 minutes.
So we aren't just asking you to help those people who are fighting ALS. We're asking you to help the person who is about to get their dreaded diagnosis in the future. I can tell you from experience, ALS is a family disease. It affects the entire family and the family's network. Some families bear a greater burden than others.
We spoke with Kelly Bozak about her family's battle with ALS.
Hi, my name's Kelly Bozak, and I'm a board member for the Mid-America chapter. I got involved with the chapter for very personal reasons. You may or may not know that 90% of cases of ALS are called sporadic ALS, which means there's no family history of ALS. The other 10% of cases are known as familial ALS, which means it runs in the family. While rare, familial ALS can be devastating. I had no idea what ALS was until October of 2000 when my aunt was diagnosed. She saw several doctors in the Denver area before she finally met a neurologist who was familiar with the disease and suggested a different set of tests. The diagnosis was delivered. My Aunt Marlene passed away on December 4th, 2001. My Aunt Janie was diagnosed in 2004, and we lost her on March 15th, 2005. Unfortunately, my mom, Carol, tripped and fell on Mother's Day in 2006. My mom received her official diagnosis in October of 2007, and we lost her on July 13th, 2008. My story does not end there. I lost a great aunt before I was actually born to the disease and a great uncle in March of 2008. We lost my Uncle Bernard on February 15th, 2014. My mom was one of 7 kids, and we've lost 4 to ALS. To me, ALS is very real. I've seen what it does to people and to families, and I've made the decision I'm going to fight. I'm going to raise awareness about ALS. I'm going to be a voice for those who have lost theirs to ALS, and I ask you to join me in the fight. To those of you who have donated or bid on an auction item, thank you. To those of you who haven't yet made the commitment, I'm asking you to take a minute now to join me, my family, the board of directors for the Mid-America chapter, and the entire ALS community by adding your name to the list of people fighting to cure ALS. Together, we can reach our goal of a world without ALS.
Kelly and her family are fighting ALS every day, and they have been for decades.
And I'm asking you to join Kelly and her family, my family, and all the families who are in the fight of their lives.
Thank you for being with us, and we look forward to seeing all of you at the 34th Annual Night of Hope in 2022. So now to close out the evening, as we always do, here's Lost Wax. We hope you get up and dance right now.
I was born by a river, oh, in a little tent. And just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, and I know the change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too long living, and I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, and I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. There were times that I thought, oh, I would last for long, but now I know I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, and I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. Then I'll go to my brother. I said, brother, won't you help me, please? Then he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we see. Light we see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. 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 So darling, darling, stand it's been a long, by me. Oh, stand by me. And I know stand by me. Stand by